We started with the customers and then talked about the value proposition. Now let's talk about channels, because within the Canvas there's a whole section focused on how we find individual customers and what are the channels that we're trying to use to have a relationship with them. If we look at the Canvas, we're jumping a little bit because we've talked about customers, we've talked about the value proposition, now we're talking about channels. Channels are key to understanding, for example, how people discover us and which ways to sell or how we do support later. We don't really talk about the activities that are done with customers because there is a dedicated section for that, but we try to understand which are the channels that can be useful the most. What are the key channels for customers? In this case, you should already know a little about your target, understand these people and what they're looking for. You also know what channels can be used to find them, for example, within certain types of sites or within event forums, etc. Try to understand where you need to be present at the company level, because that's where something happens that can be useful for your business. An important distinction must be made whether the channels are yours or not. We did a small case with Adidas in which the first screenshot is taken from their site, where they can directly tell what they're doing, and it can be much stronger in terms of communication, because being the direct channel, they can also put the images they prefer, the messages they prefer, and directly calibrate this communication for the target they have. In the second case, on the other hand, it is a screenshot taken from Zalando, where they have a small section, but they have less control. Always think about whether it's a channel you own directly or not, because it could be very different in terms of communication. There is a small funnel that we have tried to summarize at the communication level, in which we will see the individual channels to understand from start to finish the individual customers, where they can be found and how they relate to your company. In the first case, we see awareness, therefore, how customers know what you are doing, how they subsequently evaluate what you are trying to do, how they buy, how this product is shipped, and how the next part is managed. Let's consider that for each of these individual sections, you should put a few channels to understand which ones are most important to you. Let's start with the first part of awareness. That is, how do we get to know our society? There can be a lot of individual ways, but you already must think about whether you're creating this canvas, you're trying to create a company, then figure out where you're going to find these people. Awareness can be very different depending on the site or what you are trying to do, because clearly if it was a local restaurant, you have to do certain types of activities. If it was an e-commerce that wants to sell directly abroad, it is likely that they are very different channels. Let's look at some examples to help you in the definition part. For example, we could be on social media. We could have a very strong strategy within Instagram and YouTube, where maybe there is a company page where content is constantly made. For example, Instagram is very useful if you create a brand. YouTube could be useful for a part of software. If you create solutions that require a part of tutorials or study, it is sure that it is one of the channels that you must try to oversee anyway. You can also have a part in the more traditional media, for example, buy newspaper pages or have articles done, and you can also have another type of element, such as paying professionals who are influencers who help you. But in this case, you are not the one who directly creates the strategy, but you pay for third-party people. You have an incredible chance of channels. We are putting some just to help you to understand which ones can be even easier in the first phase. It's very important to do the first part, the awareness part, because it's the one where you let people know who you are. So on TV, for example, you have a lot of commercials for companies that don't want to sell directly, but try to tell you that they are a brand, and so maybe when you make a purchase, it will later come to mind because you have seen a certain type of communication. The next part is to evaluate why you are better than others. Here, too, there are many individual strategies, and the point at which you have to try to convince these people that you have done something better, and therefore they can trust you. Let's see some small ideas in this case as well. Some sites even have comparisons. So, for example, if you have a sale of products that are perhaps technical, you can show why they are different from each other, or if you sell software, understand that there are different plans. In this part, while you are telling why they are different from each other, try to be completely transparent. Some companies even put their competitors in the market. Consider how transparent you want to be. Explaining that you're trying to do something different can also be helpful from a communication standpoint. You can put case studies. If you sell directly for companies, it can be useful to put, for example, PDF or graphics where you are trying to tell numbers that can be useful for the next selection, or you can be inside podcasts where you can tell more easily what you are doing. All these channels are very useful when you're talking about the evaluation part. So add tons of elements that can try to convince those people to buy directly from you. These channels may be completely different from the previous ones.